You're listening to The Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Experience holiday cheer at Tanger Outlets with savings up to 70% off your favorite brands. From fragrances to accessories and the latest styles, discover the best gifts for everyone on your list. Save big at Nike Factory Store, Michael Kors, Under Armour, Coach, Polo Ralph Lauren, Kate Spade New York, and so many more. Unwrap the best at Tanger Outlets. Hundreds of brands, endless gifting options. Plan your trip at Tanger.com.
TBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
2 years.
It's F8 that,
Okay.
please.
That's 2 years.
F8 that, please, Lee.
Yeah. That's if
2 years.
that's if 120 other teams get sanctions. Then
Why is that?
North Carolina will be competing for it.
Hey, man, we're in the era.
So
of
are
time.
you saying, hold on, are you saying making the playoff, or are you saying
make the
like,
playoff?
no, like
Be a competitor.
well,
Being a
the
competitor.
ACC is not very good. I know they got a couple teams in, but still.
He could be a player in the next 2 years with the type of resources.
I mean,
that
I think if you put it this
bring to
way,
the table.
Clemson and SMU the biggest underdogs?
Yes.
Yes, I believe so.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not that. It might not be that difficult to win the ACC.
I don't think it's far-fetched at all.
All right, coming up next here from the TireRack.com studios, we're going to tell you about a breath of fresh air from one coach in the world of sports. That's right here on FSR.
Our thanks to Rapid Radio, the official communication device of Fox Sports Radio. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I just wondered if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you.
You sons of bitches.
Damn.
Let's go to a break, man.
Why? What's wrong with you?
Man, the media be killing me with that. I'm part of media,
Oh.
man. You ain't got to laugh at people. Everything is not funny.
Man, you people.
Sorry. You people need to do better. Do better, people.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. Let your kids explore and have adventures while staying connected with Rapid Radio's walkie-talkies. Perfect for playtime, these walkie-talkies offer a safe way to communicate without the need for internet access. With a durable design and easy-to-use features, Rapid Radios ensure your children can enjoy their adventures while you keep peace of mind. They're perfect for backyard fun, neighborhood explorations, and beyond. Visit rapidradios.com and receive up to 60% off and an additional 5% off using the code RADIO. Rapid Radios, adventure and safety combined.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
2 years.
It's F8 that
Okay.
please. Yeah.
Next 2 years.
F8 that, please, Lee.
Yeah,
Next
that's
2 years.
that's if 120 other teams get sanctions. Then,
Why is that?
North Carolina will be competing for it.
Hey, man, we're in the era.
So
of
are
time.
you saying, hold on, are you saying making the playoff, or are you saying
make the
like,
playoff.
no, like
Be a competitor.
okay, well,
Being a
the
competitor.
ACC is not very good. I know they got a couple teams in, but still.
He could be a player in the next 2 years with the type of resources.
I mean,
that
I
he's
think if you
probably
put it this
gonna bring
way,
to the table.
Clemson and SMU the biggest underdogs?
Yes.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not that. It might not be that difficult to win the ACC.
I don't think it's far-fetched at all.
All right, coming up next here from the TireRack.com studios, we're going to tell you about a breath of fresh air from one coach in the world of sports. That's right here on FSR.
Our thanks to Rapid Radio, the official communication device of Fox Sports Radio. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkie.
The all-new.
Want to know what's going on with the Crimson Tide? Download the Tide 100.9 app today. Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky clear this morning. Will be in the mid-30s by daybreak, around 35. Later today, mostly sunny, the high 56. The day Saturday will be dry, but clouds will increase, then a chance of rain Saturday night. The high Saturday at 59. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 30 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monsi Bolaños.
The LA Rams needed 4 field goals to defeat the 49ers on the road, 12-6. Matthew Stafford completed 16 of 27 passes for 160 yards. Brock Purdy completed 14 of 31 passes for 142 yards, but he had one crucial interception in the end zone in the fourth quarter. Since their bye week, LA is 7-2. After the game, 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan shared that linebacker Devondre Campbell told the team he didn't want to play and left in the third quarter. Two-way star Travis Hunter, who was named the AP College Football Player of the Year, also won the Defensive Player of the Year and Most Outstanding Receiver. Boise State star Ashton Jeanty won the Maxwell Award as college football's top player and the Doak Walker Award for being the top running back in the country. Indiana's Curt Cignetti was named Coach of the Year. And in the NBA, the Celtics outscored the Pistons 123-99. The Kings edged the Pelicans 111-109, and the Heat had a 114-104 win over the Raptors.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to recruit you, and our running back coach didn't think you passed. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care on this Friday edition. Today's playbook, we have Bama Hoops versus Creighton. Can Bama pick up a big win tomorrow night as they get ready to head into the break? Bowl opt-outs. Well, it seems like bowl opt-ins for Bama this year. Miro, Campbell, Booker decide if they're playing against Michigan. One more timeout with the Tide. Ryan Williams is raw. What does this mean with Ryan's new tattoo? Is he locked into the Crimson Tide with all the transfer rumors going on? We'll take a look at the 2025 schedule. Is Bama going to continue to play tough out of conference games, as we see that strength of schedule doesn't mean much to the college football playoffs? It's more about winning you're in. DeBoer and staff will take a look at the grades, look in the offseason, and if there's any changes. Bama is having a big weekend on visits for the transfer portal. We'll also look at the state of college football and more.
All right. Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. But it is a free for all Friday, powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. We want to get you in on the conversation on the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions Hotline. The Empowerment Strategies and Solutions Hotline, 205-342-9904 is open for business. And remember, Empowerment Strategies and Solutions is an education, equipping, and empowerment company. We speak, we coach, we train. You can go to martinhouston.org and find out more information about what all we offer to better serve you, our services, our products, and our offerings. And you can also book an appointment or book us for your next event. That's Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. We speak, we coach, we train. All right, lots of topics to get to, so I don't want to take much longer. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice, be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference we want to see, or that you want to see in the world today. X, did you happen to see the Belichick interview?
No, I didn't.
It's just awkward, man. It's just awkward. Hey, before we get into the topics we mentioned and start with this basketball conversation, I want to say to all the people out there this kudos to Alabama's former center, I think won an award last night, right? Did you see that?
I kept up with some of them, but did Seth McLaughlin win the Remington?
I think so. I haven't. I was trying to verify it. Let me make sure before I misspeak, because my inbox started blowing up last night. As Seth McLaughlin. Let me make sure. Yep.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah. And so it was someone said it wasn't someone, it was several people talking about, yeah, the guy that y'all ran out of town with your horrible beating him down and stuff. And I'm like, nobody beat Seth down. Seth got out of town because of the way Seth played. And so I just wanted to throw that out on a Free For All Friday. I think Seth needed a fresh start. And I think Seth did the right thing. I didn't get to see him play that much this year, so I can't say whether he wanted or that he deserved it or not. But kudos to him. I'm glad he was able to respond. Never had any bad feelings about Seth in any kind of way. But you know, Seth was a tight end in high school. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk some hoops. I just wanted the Bama fans to know I didn't hate on Seth because I was hating on Seth. I did talk about his his horrible snaps. I mean, it was bad. It was really
you have to call that out.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the moments when it happened.
Right.
You know, Auburn game, Michigan game. I mean, one of his snaps created one of the greatest plays in Iron Bowl history. But the other one also potentially cost the GOAT another chance to play for a national championship.
And I mean, that's just the way it is sometimes. Congratulations to Seth and his success this year. Also hope that he recovers from an Achilles tear he suffered towards the end of the season. And hopefully he can bounce back and he has a great NFL career. You know, whether a guy transfers or not, I will always root for him except for a couple. If they wore the crimson and white at one point in their careers, and hope he's successful moving forward. But getting into Bama hoops, Bama's got a big game tomorrow night, taking on Creighton. Been a while since Bama's played due to dead week and finals week, but finals in today for Alabama, and they get to take on Creighton tomorrow. So thoughts about what this team can do after a pretty lengthy layoff. I think this is the longest layoff that they have, because I think they have one more game after this, and then, of course, they come back for league play after Christmas.
After Christmas. They have two more games before Christmas.
Okay, two more games before Christmas? Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. Is Nate Oates, it's funny, his two big men are getting to play their former teams, X. You know, Alabama got to play Rutgers, right? Earlier. And next week they play North Dakota. So I thought that was interesting. Isn't that where what's the name came from? Yep, North Dakota. So that's who they have next week. But this Creighton game.
No. He came from North Dakota State.
Okay, he came from North Dakota State. He came from North Dakota State, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's so many schools out there. I can't keep up in basketball. Yeah, I mean, in football, it's hard enough for an old man to keep up in football. But in basketball, everybody plays basketball. So, He played North Dakota. He came from North Dakota State. All right. But anyway, Creighton, Creighton was, I guess, in some ways having a down season. But of course, everybody gets right before they play the Tide, right? And so
in every sport.
It doesn't really matter. But they were able to take down Kansas in one of their last outings. And of course, so that means that they're going to be playing some confident ball. But this is another one of those examples, the difference between football and basketball and selection committee and all of that. Mm-hmm. Just imagine if football had the same approach. If you go out of conference, it helps your strength of schedule or hurts you, but you make the tournament based on what you do in your conference. There's been times that Alabama didn't win a lot of these games under Nate Oates, but because they played them, they got credit when they went through the SEC and got better and better and better. And I think that's what Coach Oates has figured out. He has figured out the formula, right? And I'm hoping that happens over time in football, that they figure out what the committee is looking for. That's the problem with the committee in football so far. I know we're talking basketball, but it's hard not to relate this back to football. But when it comes to basketball, it seems like they figured out the formula with the scheduling and performances.
Yeah, they have. And, of course, that's after years, 30, 40 years, if not longer, of this type of system. So,
but I think
it's going to take.
Been consistent. I think March Madness has always been consistent because you kind of knew what to do. It was just whether you were willing to do it.
True. As far as basketball goes, I'm here for the birth of this in football. Basketball, by the time I got into the sport, it was a known system and a known formula to get yourself in, win or lose some of these tough games. But Nate Oates and what he's done over the years, I like how he plays these tough out-of-conference games because it helps his team. It gives them confidence. And even in our 2 losses, they're close losses, they're games, man, we could have won if we had just done this different. And it helps leading into SEC play. And, man, I was looking at, what is it, the top 12 teams. It's starting the basketball top 25 starting to look like the college football top 25. There's like 6 or 7 teams in the top 13 from the SEC, something ridiculous like that. You're talking about the number 6, number 5, number 7, number 9. It's the SEC basketball is just as deep it is in football now, if not deeper. So I love that he's going to continue this trend to build the confidence for this team, especially with the injury to Right Sale, get Mallet and Youngblood some time out on the court before they start conference play.
Yeah, and when you look at Creighton, they have it. They had their first FDU, Houston Christian, Kansas City. That was kind of their first 3 games where they kind of was totally overpowering the competition. Then they lost 74-63 against Nebraska. Then they lost to San Diego State, 71-53. Then Texas A&M got them 77-73. Then they got Notre Dame 80-76 and 76-63 over Kansas, and 83-65 over UNLV. So they had 3 really, cream puffs X. Then they had 3, Division I games, decent basketball teams. Number 23 San Diego State, number 17 Texas A&M, that got them. But it's like they got close to beating Texas A&M, got a little confidence, and now they're on a 3-game win streak as Alabama travels out there. Let's look inside that just a little bit, coming back on the other side, and then we'll transition to some football and get your thoughts on whether or not you think Alabama can take down a team in Creighton who seems to be surging at the right time.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good morning to you in TGIF. We are moving with a purpose on the Tuscaloosa freeways and side streets. The construction work not even slowing you down. But just to remind you, we do have that all over in 2059 eastbound between Joe Malisham and 69. You got that long-term road project as well as on McFarland east and westbound between Jack Warner and Lurleen Wallace. That's road work there as well. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report.
Timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi, North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. Call North River Timber Company today. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com or call 205-242-5127. Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They've moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com, or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good supply of sunshine today, the high 56. Tonight fair with the low at 41. Tomorrow increasingly cloudy, a chance of some rain tomorrow night, the high 59. Sunday a mix of sun and clouds, a small chance of a shower, the high 61. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 30 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care on this free-for-all Friday. It's powered by the pharmacy at Midtown. Go check out the pharmacy at Midtown. Medication savings. Your health shouldn't have to take a break. Shouldn't have to break the bank. Yeah, it can help you with medication synchronization. You may be saying, hey, what's that? Pick all of your medicines up on the same day each month instead of having to go get a prescription fill here and one there. Refill your prescriptions, transfer your prescriptions. All you need to do is contact them for those services and a lot more. If you're a new patient, call 205-579-9933, and they'll look forward to working and serving you. That's the pharmacy at Midtown. TJ and his team look forward to serving you. You can find them online at Pharmacy Midtown, pharmacymidtown.com. All right, X, we were talking a little bit about Creighton, about the whole game and things like that. Alabama's played this team 3 times. They're 0-3 against them. 2 of the 3 before last year was during the tournament way back in 2012 and once in 2016 in the NIT, second round in 2012 NIT tournament. And then, of course, last year they came up a little short in that game. They were 4 for 22 in the threes last year. Mark Shears had 19 points, but couldn't really get a lot of other things going. But they have a big man, 7'1", Ryan Kalkbrenner, X, and he is 2-year finalist, 2023 and 2024 finalist for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, and this year he's averaging a little over 17 points a game. Is this when we see the value of Big O finally come into play? How much you think Kalkbrenner changed the game? Because last year he missed the majority of the first half, X, but had 18 points in the second half.
I remember that. That game's coming back to me now from last year. Yeah, he got in foul trouble early, right?
I think no, he got injured. He had some type of injury. I don't remember what the injury was, but
okay.
He had a big second half.
Huge. Yeah, I think this is when you see Big O start making waves, and I also think it helps Grant not having to be the big body down low. And you try to use ways that the two of them force him into foul trouble early and maintain that Big O, bodies him down low with that 260-pound frame that he has. But you also use Grant on drives and things of that nature to make him kind of step out and draw contact in that way on a two-man front with that. So I think that's how you attack him this year.
Yeah, and I also think that the drive and kick is going to be big in this game. But we have to replace Reitzel. We saw Houston Mallett do that a little bit, in what he does. And he's not, I don't know if anybody's at 50%, like Reitzel used to hang around, but Pepperdine is definitely, they took the red shirt off of him. And it's rumored that South Florida transfer and Tuscaloosa native Chris Youngblood may be back, and he definitely was the second best from a percentage standpoint three-point shooter on the team. So between those two guys, if we see them tonight, that drive and kick may be the difference in this game.
Yeah, and we're still kind of waiting on Mark to get into a smooth groove in his shooting, and I think that's something that you can see take off tonight. Trusting the guys around him, but also making sure when he's got his shot, he puts it up with confidence.
Yeah, and just a note, X, before I ask you who you think, that Creighton's coming off of a 3-game win streak after a 3-game losing streak, but heading into the game, they lost their team's second leading scorer, Pop Isaac. Don't know the details behind that. Mm-hmm. And they also lost freshman Larry Johnson. Both of those guys rumored to be going into the portal. I'm sorry. Never mind. Just talk about Pop Isaac for sure being out.
You lose your second. It's a similar situation Alabama was going through. Latrell was our number 2 scorer, but he was our best 3-point shooter. So how do you replace that? What adjustments are you going to make within that? Real quick, is that Larry Johnson related to the Larry Johnson that played in the NBA?
I'm not sure. That's why I know that they lost 2 players, and I'm not sure which one it was. I know Pop Isaac is one. I saw a conflicting story on whether it was the Johnson kid or not. So,
I think that's how they have to figure out who's going to be able to step up and be that second leading scorer, just like Alabama's searching for who's going to replace Reitzel's production at the 3-point line.
Yeah. But no, it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of that. I got Bama, taking care of business, getting their first ever win over Creighton to move their record to 1-3. It's been a while since Bama hit that 100-point mark. And with the big man in the middle, I don't know if they get there or not, but if the shooting's on and Mallett and if Youngblood plays, Alabama breaks the 100-point mark. If not, Bama X gets the win, getting into the high 80s, low 90s.
I think Bama wins a close one. I think we get it done, but I'll say probably around the same point total, high 80s, low 90s, but it'll be a hard-fought game.
Yeah, and I think it is just circling that back as we end this conversation, get ready to go to Robert. I think I don't know if, like I said, the young man is related, but to Larry Johnson or not, but it appears to be a young man from Savannah, Georgia, played high school ball at South California Academy, 6'4" guard, but like I said, he had some trouble early and was suspended already, kind of like the Keanu Coate thing. A lot of people talking about Keanu Coate going into the portal. That wasn't a surprise. He went into the portal after getting suspended. So, but hey, got the Tide taking a win over Creighton and getting another victory over not a blue blood, but a very, very good basketball program school. Let's get to Robert. Robert, you're in on the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions hotline with Martin and Xavier on a Free For All Friday powered by the Pharmacy at Midtown. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, well, you guys taking me back talking about Larry Johnson, the days of what, Grandmama? Good times. Hey, Rob's question on the show yesterday was, I guess he all week is the grades you give this offense, defense, and he got to Kalen DeBoer yesterday. And, a lot of Alabama fans were quite generous with their grades, I thought, as well. That's their opinion. I can't say it's right or wrong. It's just their opinion. I said, no master gave him an A. There's just absolutely no way I can give this season an A. I really don't understand that, but like I said, it's their opinion. I guess they can have whatever opinion they want.
Hey, Larry, Robert, is that an A based on what the preseason was? Because if you had said, give me a grade at the beginning of the season based on what the record is, then that totally makes sense. You know what I mean? Like because if you look at this season, if we said we would be 9-3, right? And a lot of people said 9-3, but we thought the 3 would be LSU or Oklahoma, a good Oklahoma team, and Georgia and Tennessee, right? That some combination of those 4 teams. So I get that A if you just look at the record, but when you look inside the questions that we missed, you have to start
exactly. Well, of course, like in school or college, mostly, every year's graded on a curve. You grade on a curve. You grade it based on the rest of the field. That's how it is. That's how it should be in football. And I graded on based on the rest of the field. The field this year wasn't that awesome. It wasn't. You didn't have any juggernaut teams out there. Like 2019. And 2020. Now, those were okay. Even back in the past with 2015 and all those years, you had some juggernauts you had to go through. Much better teams than you have now. So, but okay, with the teams you have now, it's should you have been 9-3, a good Alabama team with the teams you got now. This Georgia team, because they said we beat Georgia. That's great. That's right. We did, but we didn't beat the Georgia teams in years past, which was much better. So I give him a B minus. It was not failing, but it's a B minus. And he lost to Auburn, I would give him an F. He lost to Auburn too. He was like, screw that, you get an F, man. You lost to every but he did. So he won that game. So I gotta give him a B minus. I didn't say 9-3. I said 10-2. But 9-3 was definitely on the table this year. No question about it. But it was like you said.
If I told you that we beat Georgia and beat LSU by 30, and lost to Tennessee, what would you have said Alabama's record would have been?
11-1. That's the problem. I was at 11-1.
That's why it's hard to give them an A.
Exactly. And the teams that you lost to. I mean, sorry, that speaks volume. Again, grading you on that curve. It's one of the best Vanderbilt teams since James Franklin was there. Yes, but it's still Vanderbilt. And they're not, powerhouse. And we lost to an Oklahoma team that's one of the weakest Oklahoma teams I've seen in a very long time. So it was like, okay, dude, I'm sorry. But it's your first season, and this really still isn't really your team yet. No first-year coach comes in and this is his team already. That never happens, no matter college pros or any other sport you want to.
Think about it like this, Alan. I saw somebody bring up this point. Alabama went 9-3. Robert. Alabama went 9-3 this year. Yeah, we lost to some teams that we didn't think we would lose to. But this team is a team in transition that lost 29 scholarship players. Most of them, and a lot of those guys would have been guys that would Caleb Downs and Isaiah Bond and Amari Nagla. To name a few. Our left tackle didn't play any football from the last game of last year, besides a few weeks of fall practice and then missed the first 2 or 3 games of the season. Our best wide receiver was a 17-year-old.
Right.
You start to look at things, and like you said, grading on a curve, it shows more than what it is.
Yeah.
I would be.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd be fine with all that, except the only thing is, okay, when you beat Georgia, which was unexpected, that was the game you shouldn't. Everybody was pretty much thinking you were going to lose. You won it. That kind of pushed you on a different trajectory. It was like he couldn't keep the team up when they were up. It was this roller coaster that we can't stay again. And they're not up against teams that, okay, even if you play your C game, you should still win this. Okay, another thing, they're gonna play your A+ game like you did against Georgia, but your B- game could really beat this team, and we couldn't even get. He couldn't keep the team up for that. That's why everything you said is why I don't give him an F, because everything you said is absolutely true and should be factored in.
Yeah, and here's the other part. Here's the reality of where college football is. There's not a team playing right now, in my opinion, that could go back and beat the 2016 Tide, the 2017 Tide, 2020 Alabama, the 2021 Georgia, the 2022. I mean, the football teams that played this year, the best of them would get smoked by just going back 3 or 4 years, and that's my opinion, But I believe
that's close to a fact.
Here's the question I have for you, Robert, as we let you go. Here's the question I have: did Venables show though that really, really great defensive minds still can own college football? Look at what he did. Here's why I say that. I don't think there's a lot of great defensive coaches out there right now. I just don't. I just don't. And that may be why Oregon wins it all. That may be why Georgia's playing for it, is they still have a little bit of that defense because you think Georgia isn't that great of an offensive team, but you can't blow them out. No. They're always in the game. Even when we blew them out, they still was able to shut us down in the second half. We blew them out in the first half. But here's the question I have. Venables did the same thing to Tua in one of the greatest offenses ever that he did to Jalen Milroe. And if you go back and look, Clemson did that several times when Venables was the coach there. These offensive juggernauts are great until they run into a great defensive team. And I'm not saying we were a juggernaut offensively this year. I'm just saying that is there any truth to that? So how big would it be if Alabama, I still look at Jeremy Pruitt and go, why is this guy being punished with the cheating that happens today?
Exactly. Oh, one more thing else before I go. Another subject that came up again was the NIL. And I chime in on that. It's like, why is it that the only people that anybody seems to have trouble earning money is the student athlete, particularly the football athlete? It seems to be like they went all the way down to college to high school sports. Some people are getting paid in high school for high school sports. Okay, did anybody complain about Macaulay Culkin getting paid for Home Alone, or the Harry Potter kids for getting paid? Even younger, they can't earn it. They can earn money, but they can't. It's just the transfer portal again. Keep trying to keep focus is the issue. That is the thing that is too easy to transfer. That's something you can do something about, and it doesn't interfere with my sense of capitalism if you do that. But it's like, I'm sorry, I'm a card-carrying capitalist, and if someone's willing to pay you money, legally, of course, or following the rules, you should be able to make any amount of money you want. It's not illegal or immoral. You make as much bank as you can, as young as you can. Okay, but the only problem when it's an athlete, I don't understand that, but that's their opinion again. So.
Robert, we're gonna get to break, but you meddling when you start pointing out that people have a problem with these athletes making money. Now, I'm gonna get to break on this thought and let X respond on the other side. But here's the thing. I just wish they had guidelines around it. It's the stupidity of the NCAA that's made it bad, starting with the portal. And we'll respond to more on that on the other side. Thanks. That's Robert from Mobile. You can get in on the Empowerment Strategy Solution hotline as well, 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF. It's a purpose-driven ride on the Tuscaloosa Freeway. Side streets are also following suit. Looking good on Skyland Boulevard as you move between 2059 and 359. Itty-bitty delays on 359 on that southbound hookup to Skyland Boulevard. That's just intersection slow goes. And we're also doing fine inside the construction zones. Not to worry on 2059 eastbound between Joe Malisham and 69. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy.
Dixie Battery Supply takes care of all of your battery needs. Find the commercial batteries you're after and never feel powerless again. Come check out our Northport and Tuscaloosa locations or call us at 205-758-9190. And once again, power up all your devices by using Dixie Battery Supply, DixieBatterySupply.com. They offer reconditioned batteries starting at $39.99, and you'll find all the batteries you need. And don't forget to ask us about our golf carts. That's DixieBatterySupply.com.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. The Empowerment Strategy Solutions hotline is open, and John from Kentucky is calling in to talk Alabama football. You're on with us, John. What's up, man?
Hey, Martin. Enjoy listening to y'all's show.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, two questions. One, when you look at, DeBoer's staff, obviously Winnie had to put his staff together, but at the time it was like, oh, he got a great staff, and I'm just a fan. Like, okay, that's great. He was able to put together a great staff. But now looking back, where do you think our staff compares to the rest of the SEC? And then a second question, this is DeBoer's first year. What do you think he takes from this year that's going to help him significantly next year, in your opinion?
Great questions. I'll let X go first.
Yeah, well, one, when you look at the staff, it wasn't the staff he initially wanted with Huff and Grubb coming and leaving to go back to Seattle. But there's two. I'd probably say Georgia and maybe Texas have the best two staffs in the SEC. But one thing that makes a staff good is continuity and time together. And so you didn't have that this year with Alabama. And if he retains these guys, they'll grow. They'll grow with these guys. And it was two completely new systems being put in. So there's that aspect.
Let me address the staff real quick as well. Great observation, John. What I would say on the staff, to piggyback off of what Xavier said, is I don't think we realized it was a good staff, especially considering when he got it and how he had to put together. But I think the Ryan Grubb and Huff thing hurt more than we realized, because having an offensive system is one thing. Having an offensive system and a guy who knows how to call that system is another thing. And then throwing in a wrinkle off of that system, meaning you now have a dual threat guy. I think Sheridan had moments where he seemed to be in a flow and not, just like we had with Tommy Rees last year. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think that hurt big time. Okay. And then the other part was that on the defensive side of the ball, the 3-3 as a base may or may not work in the SEC. Because when we ran against physical running teams, Vanderbilt and Oklahoma implemented Vanderbilt's system, and Tennessee and Auburn. Everybody forgets Auburn had a lot of success early moving the ball. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't work. Okay. But here's the question. I will say this staff was better than last year's staff. This staff was better done than Saban's last staff. And would only get better. And that's Martin's opinion. Now to what he learned, X, I'll go first on that. I think that to me, part of what we're going to look like he learned, John, is he had a young team. And I just responded to this to MHS 04-07. Everybody talks about the talent Saban left here. Saban left a bunch of freshman and sophomore talent. He didn't leave a lot of experience in playing time. And the guys who should have had experience that stayed, Saban didn't play them because he didn't build out talent. He just depended on age. Well, the third and fourth year guys was amongst that 29 that Xavier talked about that left. You look at the guys who are leaving this year and their playing time versus the guys who left last year after Saban and their playing time is two totally different transfer portal scenarios happening. Mm-hmm. And so I think that he has to learn how big a deal it is when you beat a big team. Because let's look at when Alabama lost, John. They lost to Vanderbilt after Georgia. High, and then an extremely low. And then they struggled against South Carolina, lost to Tennessee. Boom. They right the ship again. They blow out LSU. They have a Mercer game that's really like a scrimmage or a practice, and then they get beat by Oklahoma. I think he has to learn, how do I get these guys back on track after big wins? Because it wasn't the big games that he had a problem getting them up for, John. It was the games that we should have won. And that's why I struggle. What are your thoughts, John? And then I'll let you respond next.
Yeah, that's a great point, because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we beat Georgia, how did he handle that? And I'm like, okay, we get beat by Vandy the next week. So I'm like, I know he didn't just take it for granted, right? Like, surely he didn't like, all right, hey, we're good. So, like, what does he do differently next year? Like, how, because it's just like kind of head scratching, like, how did that happen? But then to me,
immature young players.
Yeah. So how to coach young kids maybe is what he learned. But yeah, that's one I just kind of scratched my head. Like, okay, how does he? What does he do differently?
Yeah.
If you look at it, it was trap games, or it was a trap game, or I would say Vandy in between Georgia and South Carolina. Then you look at Tennessee after an emotional, hard-fought game versus South Carolina, and then you got the high, as it was stated, but a trap game in Oklahoma because you're potentially looking ahead to Auburn. If he can get this team to be even keeled and ride that wave of emotion, I think that's going to be the biggest thing, so we don't end up in these situations moving forward. And I think it does come with the maturity of the players. You'll have an older Ryan Williams, an older Xavier Brown, older guys in those positions, along with their talent also and experience also being at a higher level.
Hey, John, I would ask you, what do you think those young kids were doing? Do you think that the young kids, because they had not played, underestimated, but he also hasn't played in the SEC, were the floor of the SEC? Let's be real. What do you think Oklahoma's record is in the ACC this year?
They're probably in the 12-team playoff.
You see what I'm saying? So we're looking and judging. This Vanderbilt team may, in another conference, may have won 8-9 games. They just happen to be in the SEC where they lost to Texas, barely. Where they lost to Missouri, barely. Where they beat Alabama, So all of a sudden you're looking at a different scenario because of the placement of the team. And he may not, not just him, this entire staff may not have understood, and they may have not pushed as much. But next year, they will not take anybody for granted. And I'm not saying they did, but that is definitely a possibility, John. Hey, John, is this your first time calling in, man?
Yeah, first time.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Roll Tide, representing up in Kentucky.
Yeah, Roll Tide. Y'all have a good day.
All right. Coming back on the other side, we'll put the finishing touch on this edition of the Martin Houston Show. It's a 2-minute warning presented by Harvest Church.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we'll do our free-for-all, sponsored by Brian Harden Construction. Free-for-all Friday starts at 2 p.m. We'll take your phone calls. We'll talk to Brent Beard and several other guests. Starting at 2, right here on Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, TGIF. It's a purpose-driven ride on the Tuscaloosa Freeway. Side streets are also following suit. Looking good on Skyland Boulevard as you move between 2059 and 359. Itty-bitty delays on 359 on that southbound hookup to Skyland Boulevard. That's just intersection slow goes. And we're also doing fine inside the construction zones. Not to worry on 2059 eastbound between Joe Malisham and 69. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored.
Houston Hydrosteam. That's Houston Hydrosteam. Quality work you can stand on. Whether you're looking for carpet and upholstery cleaning, oriental rug cleaning, residential or commercial water damage, and a whole lot more, you need to call Houston Hydrosteam at 205-553-9460, 553-9460, or visit them online at HoustonHydrosteam.com. And once again, Houston Hydrosteam is quality work you can stand on. The pharmacy at Midtown, that's the pharmacy at midtown.com. TJ and his team are looking for the opportunity to provide you with great services, including compounding, home delivery, and a whole lot more. If you're looking for a great pharmacy that'll take care of all of your needs, including wellness classes, including health, and more, that's the pharmacy at Midtown. Call them at 205-579-9933. If you're looking for a great pharmacy, you need to try the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at Midtown, pharmacy at midtown.com.
If you have an inside time for the Martin Houston Show, with the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We are Power Box Eye Care, but it is a free-for-all Friday brought to you by the pharmacy at Midtown. Closing minutes, the three big names, Jalen Milroe, Tyler Brooker, Jahad Campbell, have all come out and said that they are playing in the bowl game. Is that a move in the direction that the culture of what Alabama football has been is still there? I don't think Shy was ever in doubt. I think he was going to play regardless.
Who?
Shy. Malachi.
Yeah. I was like, who is Shy? Is it Malachi? Malachi? I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I mean, those four guys playing, first of all, you're captains. I mean, and that's what was shown a few years ago with Bryce and Will. And most programs don't have one time where that happened. Alabama now has the second time. And so I'm happy to see it. So to me, it's a really, really good sign of the culture and commitment to the crimson jersey that DeBoer is instilling in the players that Nick Saban had instilled in his player, that each game is an opportunity to increase value for yourself.
Yeah, I love it, and I think that hopefully this is something that we continue to see. Hopefully we continue to see it because we're playing for national championships, though, of course.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have too many of these where we have to figure out whether Alabama's best players are playing in a meaningless bowl game.
So thoughts on the portal real quick with the guys that have left, as you said earlier. It's the guys that aren't getting as much playing time as before, but just how you feel about where you think the portal ends up this year.
I think the board is, there may be some guys that's leaving because they want to leave. I think the board is making room to bring in some guys that will fit his system more. And even what's his name needs to bring in some guys on the defensive side that fits this 3-3 system more. If that's what Bama's going to roll with, the Tide has to continue to recruit players to fit that system as well. Wrap it up, man.
All right, this is the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Of course, we had Chase Brumfield pressing all the right buttons. We appreciate y'all again for another great week of talking Alabama sports. We'll catch y'all back here on Monday.
All right, and remember this. Trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. We'll catch you on Monday. We'll add Kenneth Smith III to the conversation, and we'll be breaking down Alabama and Creighton right here at 9 a.m. Remember this. Join us at Harvest Church on Sunday at 10 a.m. worship, 9 a.m. Bible study time. Look forward to seeing you. Roll Tide, everybody.
It's a celebration.